That brings us down to the adoption of the agenda, and let the record show that we did have a added item, added item to 12.17, item number 2. This is a termination of employment of employee position 0141799909. Also, it's been requested that we pull number 19 off of the personnel recommendations and take that as a separate item this evening. Number 19 off of the personnel recommendations. All right, ready for a motion? Anything else?
Motion.
All right, motion.
A second.
All right, Ms. Carlton makes that motion, and Ms. Mathis seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? So carried. All right. All right, the approval of minutes for January the 14th workshop, regular school board meeting, and executive session.
Motion.
All right, motion by Ms. Carlton, seconded by Ms. Donnell. And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? I so carry. All right, now we have recognition this evening for our District Teacher of the Year, Mr. Wentworth. Would you like to do the honors?
Absolutely. At the Taylor County School Board, we'd like to recognize our Teacher of the Year for the district, Mr. Luke Mosley.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
He's done a fabulous job out at Big Bend Technical College, and I can't think of anyone more deserving than him for this award.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you for your hard work in our district. All right, we move down now at this moment to the items of interest by the public. If anyone has a concern this evening that you'd like to present before the board, this would be your opportunity to do that. Do we have anyone this evening? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Come, if you don't mind, well, we might hear you a little bit better, and just, we love for you to
Thank you.
try to hold your comments to about 3 minutes if you
Okay.
can.
That's fine. I want to thank you all for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Christy Goodman. My family and my husband's family have deep roots in this community. Wade and I both graduated from Taylor County Schools, and we chose to raise our children here and keep them in the public school system because we believe in this community and our schools. As a parent of 3 children, 2 Taylor County alumni, and 1 that is about to graduate, I feel it's time to share some observations and concerns. So this is not for me, but this is the future of our Taylor County children and schools. Over the years, we have celebrated our children's academic achievements. Like last night, honor societies, highest GPAs, and scholarship recognitions. Despite these milestones, I've noticed a disappointing trend. Few board members and school representatives attend these celebrations. And sometimes important meetings are scheduled on the exact same night. Our children deserve to be celebrated for their hard work, their integrity, and their success. Yet much of the attention in our schools seem to focus on behavior issues, with less emphasis on rewarding those who seem to always do right. I've always tried to follow the correct channels when addressing concerns and have worked hard to remain very positive about our public school system. However, it's discouraging to hear people in leadership positions speak poorly of our schools while praising other school districts. This only weakens our community spirit and discourages families from staying invested within our school system and our community. As school board members, you are responsible for steering the ship and setting the direction for the future of our schools. Your decisions impact our schools Your decisions impact how our schools are viewed and whether our entire district thrives. I recognize the challenges you face, but I urge you to always pursue equality and opportunity for all children. Decisions that will not only benefit them today, but decisions that you're making today that will benefit them 5, 10, and even 15 years from now. I tell my children very often in difficult situations that I'm fighting for you. It seems like I am fighting against you a lot, but I am fighting for you. I am not only responsible for what's best for you today, but I am also responsible for what's best for your future. I encourage you to fight for the children in our schools. With that same mindset, fight for what is best, even when it's hard. Fight for the parents, the community, for the good of Taylor County. Celebrate the achievements and honor what is true and right. Your position affords you the unique opportunity to be present in the lives of our children and our school system, not just behind a desk. So I encourage you, show up at the celebrations for honors, for scholarships. There's a lot of kids that get scholarships that don't have the opportunity to go to school unless they had these scholarships. In the past 2 scholarship presentations that I've been to with my kids, there wasn't very many representatives from the schools that were there to celebrate them. It's once a year, and it's a big deal. I encourage you to be there to celebrate them. Celebrate their achievements. Let the children see that you care and that you are invested in their future. Now is one of the most challenging times for our school district, but also our community. We need our children invested in our community. We need them to grow up and want to have deep roots just like we have had. But it's also the right time for us to come together. Lead the charge. That's what I challenge. Turn the ship towards a positive future where students are celebrated, expectations are clear, and every child is encouraged to become exactly who they are created to be. Thank you again for allowing me this time and for your dedication for the schools and our community. I believe that together we can create a school system that our entire community can celebrate and be proud of.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else at this time? If not, we'll move forward. Also like to remind the board this evening that we do have 2 closed hearings at the end of the meeting, also an executive session. And so this brings us down to the pulled item. All the other consent items were approved by the adoption of the agenda, but we want to take care of the personnel recommendations, item 12.01, number 19. I think Ms. Dunnell had some questions on this.
Yes. Yes, I had some questions in regards to the requests for these extra hours. I know I spoke with the superintendent, so I didn't know if he want to. My concern was the request for the extra hours. I went back because I know since, the 23-24 school term, when everything first happened with the closure of the mill and with the hurricanes, we've been talking about extra hours. And it seems like every meeting, we keep talking about the request for extra hours. And that we, are not going to be filling positions and everything. But again, every meeting, there's a request. So that was my initial concern. And then the second concern was I went back because before I asked the question, I wanted to see if this was a typical request. And I wasn't able to see that. I went back a couple of school terms and I have never really seen this request. And so that began to lead to other questions. So the superintendent had asked me, did I have any questions? And I asked him. And so the last we spoke, I just couldn't quite understand why the request was coming over and that it was just for one school. Because I know we have ESC students throughout all our schools. And so I was just trying to figure out what was the reason for the request, and being that this request was having to go back to September, because for one, we're in February.
I'm gonna let Ms. Bell answer that question? I think we had talked with you about that and answered that, but
So, thing I want to bring up is this particular school. And Mr. decided to take those resource teachers and place them in the academic instead of pull out or push in,
Mhm.
which this is what these two resources. They help write the goals for the IEPs, they help progress monitoring, they help, meet the minutes in those IEPs of those students. And so those two teachers are now in an academic classroom in a setting where they have kids all day long, and they're serving those students that are ESA.
Mhm.
So I'd like to point out that two of those positions are empty. Saving salaries because we didn't have classroom instead of being a. And so Mr. Finley and Ms. Popple can speak more to this, but my understanding is that Ms. McKay had a conversation with both of those principals and told them, I understand your concern that no one's there to help goals and the progress monitoring and serve these minutes. Yes, we need to have 3 or 4 teachers helping with these things. Memo never came forward. A couple of the staffing specialists reached out to us and said, hey, these teachers have been services, but there's never been a memo to approve them. That's why it's coming up now. So a couple of these teachers that are listed here have submitted between 12 and 13 hours apiece. And that was just for the first semester. They haven't even been working second semester. So maybe, I'll be happy to.
With the Florida Inclusion Network every year, and we develop how we're going to serve our ESC students. Last 3 teachers push in the classroom, 30 minutes, and the students. Is pushing in, serving the actual core instruction. 3 or 4 years. Last year, we had to mid-year go back to 2 because we needed this to serve intervention because we had one of our intervention teachers retired. Actually doing both then. Service minutes. So you have to do it, and what happens is if you have 20% of your students are considered ESE and need service minutes, have more than 20% ESC students in a classroom, or it's considered. You have to spread them out, so you need those people. Even if you're doing a pull-out model, which is not best practice, but is what we did for years, you have to have so many, there's only so many slots to keep the numbers down. So we had in our staffing plan for these, we realized we aren't getting anybody else in the folder. So we called Leah Jackson, who is our person that have any duly certified. So it's not the best case scenario, but they can serve minutes in the classroom. You're just not what we typically do, but legally you can. That's what we did. We had to ask 4 teachers that are only 2. There's 2 more. They have half the caseload as these. They're just doing extra duty, but they are, in addition to writing IEPs and writing progress reports, setting goals for IEPs, they're also serving those minutes, having to plan to serve those minutes. Nobody else in the school is doing it. So yes, you are correct. We've never done it this way. Ideally, next year, we'll be able to have those 2 teachers back.
So when I first asked the question, the superintendent said he would get the information back, and it just came. The information that came back was these teachers had to go back in the classroom, so I asked what was different. So it's to my understanding that staffing was the concern at the elementary school, that you had a lot of staff, but your number as far as your students really didn't, support the staff. So I don't know who made the decision. I would assume that it was you and Chuck, because Chuck was at the school at the time, made the decision who was going to be in the classroom, how you guys was going to utilize your staff. I get that. But when I proceed to ask questions, I'm like, well, what we doing at other schools? This can't be, the only school. And so just information that I came back is other schools have been able to accommodate this. So I couldn't understand like what was the difference in regards to you guys staffing versus the other schools. Now I get that administrators have autonomy, but we also know too that your staffing got to support your numbers. So that's why I'm just concerned as to if you guys had to go back to changing your staffing because you got less students. I get it might not be less students you're serving, but if your students don't support your staff, then how do you accommodate the extra staff outside of the classroom? Well, I understand that you guys are saying you're understaffed, but again, I spoke with our previous finance director who says that you guys do staffing every year and you guys address the staffing. And the concern was you guys was gonna have to cut staff. Now I get that you guys wasn't giving direction on how y'all do that, but staff had to cut down. So my concern was why we're doing something different at your school but the other schools are accommodating how they're meeting this service.
They're overstaffed and this school is under.
So why didn't we advertise for ESC teachers?
At some point, we were told by the prior superintendent that we weren't filling any more positions. We were gonna try to put 8 subs in classrooms. It's not an idea. And we had these 2 phenomenal teachers that we could help us because we were short.
So how does the staffing specialist support when it comes to the IEPs and ESC services?
They facilitate all of these, and so staff instructors have also taken on more. Process, because no school has an MPS. And they just in the last 2 weeks had, well, because we're getting more of those kids. They schedule all meetings, they finalize IEPs, so the teachers go in to peer and they write goals, and then the staffing specialists, they take all the notes in the meeting,
So I get all that. I guess I'm just trying to figure out how did the other schools make the accommodations, but you guys wasn't? That's what my question is.
But we only have 1 ESC teacher instead of 3
Have
this
to
year.
push into,
Full-time, that's their job.
right, so we still have to legally provide, especially design. Kid might have 150 minutes a week, that's 5 days a week in a classroom that teacher is having to go. As, like the other students, they're able to get there, especially with instruction in the gen ed classroom with these teachers.
And if you look back at our staffing plans, we've always been allocated 3, for the last 3 or 4 years, we've been allocated 3 ESC teachers.
I get that, Rachel, but I just still, for me, the request that came over is we keep talking about extra hours. I get you guys don't, you may not, but that is, a concern. Because if we've been told we're gonna have to do cuts, and if we've been told stuff is gonna have to change, I don't want that to affect services, but if, schools are choosing to do stuff different, my concern is what we're doing across the board.
Ideally, we hope by the time, and we try to, each year, try to dial back some of those minutes. At the younger ages, they do need more minutes sometimes for those foundational skills or gaps that they're missing. So if we don't, we're gonna have to say, oh my gosh, we're gonna be in our
Okay.
And we have to change emails from August requesting these hours, and it just never got sent.
Unfortunately, that was in February.
Well, I did, like I said, I asked questions and I did contact, some other districts and try to figure it out. The concern that I'm giving is that it just seemed like it's just something different at your school. I don't know. Um,
Right now, we have,
so your VE teacher is not ESC certified?
he's different.
Well, but my understanding is at other schools, those are the teachers that's help writing IEPs.
No, they have their students for their, 10 or 12 kids that have on their IEP that requires them to have a 3-to-1 instructional ratio or a 5-to-1. He's different than what we're talking about.
So
We're
who,
trying to serve services.
right, when you put these teachers back in the classroom, the plan was to just ask for extra hours?
So the plan was to try to have aides that would help serve minutes, because you can do that too, as long as an ESC teacher is supervising it, which some other schools do. And we had 2 subs, and Mr. Finley can attest to this,
Aye.
good subs, and that had done long-term sub positions for us before.
Yeah.
And at some point, we were told, you can't sub those positions anymore.
Well, Ms. Carlton has a question.
Yes.
So do you foresee this continuing for the rest of this year like this?
Well, the request came over for the rest of the year.
You're talking about a total of less than 1 month of a teacher's
Right.
salary for all the hours for these 4 teachers versus the fact that we have cut 2 positions that are gonna cost the district $100,000 in salaries. You're talking about $3,500.
Right, but my question, you're going to continue, and then for next year, I'm sure you'll have a different plan when you work on the staffing for this year.
However many teaching units were allocated, hopefully we'll be able to find certified teachers to put back in.
We can't go out for hopefuls, and that's the concern. The concern is,
We're allocated a number of teachers that we are given. These
I understand that, Rachel, y'all allocated, and other schools are allocated too. And how to come, to me, this seemed like this is a site level concern. It doesn't seem like it's an extra hours concern. It seems like how if you know you're allocated a certain number of teachers, you got to make those accommodations with the staff. It doesn't seem like, because if we're doing it for your school and no other school is, I asked these questions, that's why I'm asking, and it just kept coming back that the ball was dropped on the extra hours. So that's why I asked what other solutions could have been in place. I don't want nothing been done here, and then I got other staff at other schools saying, hey, I'm making it, but I'm not getting extra hours, and I don't want to debate this, and I hate being put in this position. Because you asked me, did I have concerns? I asked you those concerns, and I told you where the concern was coming from.
And I think they have been very well explained.
And that's fine.
We are actually saving thousands of dollars. by
That's what
doing it
y'all are
this way.
saying, but you're not showing that.
Minutes and these extra hours. And as far as our staffing, that will take place as we get closer to the end of the year, where our staffing plan will be based on our numbers. And
Well,
that's
we
something
know
that is
there's
going to
nothing
be
new
worked on.
with the staffing plan and the need for the numbers.
Chairman Lundy, I'd like to call to question, please.
Okay. Yeah, you've got kind of the information here, and it's a fluid situation to a degree because of the numbers and everything. So, item number 19, do I have a motion and second that we approve this?
Motion.
All right.
Second.
All right, motion's been made by Ms. Mathis, seconded by Ms. Carlton. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Nay.
Okay, so
And
carried. Ms.
please let the
Donnell
record
opposed.
show, please let the record show that my concern for not supporting it is I'm concerned that it's not been done across the board. And I don't want it to be a position where we're given an opportunity for a number of employees and it's not been spread across the board, because this does not align to the union contract.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, this brings us down now to item 12.05, appointment of administrative personnel. Item number 1 is the appointment of Ms. Kelly Croft as administrative assistant to
Mr.
payroll,
Mister,
effective January 27th, 2025.
Mr.
It's a
Oh, I'm
lister.
sorry. I'm sorry. Is he here? I'm sorry. Kelly Croft.
Motion.
All right, Ms. Carlton makes the motion. Second,
I second.
okay. All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? So carried. All right, item number 2, appointment of Tasha Roberts as administrative assistant to superintendent effective February the 5th, 2025.
Motion.
All right, motion by Ms. Mathis, second. Okay, Ms. Donnell seconds it.
Do we
All-
need to discuss it?
I'm sorry. Well, she don't matter. Okay.
First time we
all-
got a rise out of
all-
Shannon.
Yeah, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, so carried. All right, item 12.17, termination of employment. Number 1, termination of employee in a position number 01, or position number 0141511118 is being,
Motion.
all right, Ms. Mathis makes that motion.
Second.
Ms. Carlton seconds for termination. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, so carried. Item number 2, termination of employee in position number 0141799909.
Motion.
All right, motion by Ms. Mathis,
Second.
seconded by Ms. Carlton. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? So carried. All right, item number 18.1, acknowledgement of items. This has to do with our Hurricane Idalia and Helene update.
Okay, so I don't have to stand up.
Yeah, I think you need to go to the microphone. It's just when you plan them on the videos back, it's hard to hear when they're not on the microphone.
Okay. So we've gotten a couple of things that aren't really great news, but we're trying to work through it, and I'm trying to think positively and not run away screaming. But we got a determination memo from the high school roofs, and they denied our high school roofs, saying that we can't prove the 25% rule, saying that we can't prove that 25% of the damage was caused by the hurricane. Since then, we've had, I can't even tell you how many meetings we've had since then with the engineers and our insurance and Synergy, and we've been gathering documentation to try and prove that, because we have to appeal this decision. We asked very nicely at the last meeting if they'll rescind that determination memo, and the lady didn't say no, and she's usually very like, no, yes, whatever. So she said she'd think about it. So everybody think positively that she's going to think about it and rescind it. We're still going to have to provide all of that documentation regardless, but just then it wouldn't be an appeal, if that makes sense. So it wouldn't be rushed as much. We also got a denial letter for some late DIs, which is damage inventory from Helene. You have so many days to submit all of your damages after a storm to FEMA. And we did that, but then after we submitted it and further review of things, there's a couple things that maybe didn't fall under deductible that we tried to add into it later. And they've appealed that. I mean, they've denied that. So we have to do a second appeal on that. And then I also included what we've just submitted for Hurricane Helene. So that one's thankfully not quite as big and long, but we've just started that process. And I don't know if there's anything else I need to share, but
Can I ask a
sure.
So to our administrators, Mr. Finley, Ms. Smirnios, Ms. Popple, Ms. McCall. So where's Casey, Ms. Roberts? So have y'all had a chance to look at the Helene list?
Well,
And
it's kind of too late now anyway. 'Cause it's already been
the Helene
submitted.
list. I
But
just,
like after, it was maybe 2 days after that hurricane, myself and the insurance adjusters, and we have like our emergency management people that have basically moved in with us for the last year and a half. Like we went through all of the schools and took pictures of everything. Dan and and our Synergy people went through all of the schools after that as well to do that. So, and they've sent me, like, they sent me all of the things that they had from their schools that we compiled into those lists too.
Okay. Well, I'm just wondering if the administrators have noticed anything that maybe had been missed from your school on the damage list? Like, if they had a chance to,
Yeah, but it doesn't matter now, is what I'm trying to say, because.
well, if we can appeal
That's the
one, we can
deadline.
appeal another, if we.
Yeah.
Have we had, Parker Engineering Group intervene in any of these?
Don't get me started on Parker Engineering. Yes, yeah, we have. We've had to have him redo like several reports. We've had Nova Engineering. We've also had McLaren's, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So we've had 3 different sets of engineers.
Okay, so we,
We've had Parker on several of our calls too. We have a couple still that are disputed that they're trying to argue whether we should replace the roof or repair the roof. Parker doesn't think we should repair it, but then insurance wants repair, not replacement, like it's a whole,
It's a process.
yes.
Yeah.
so we're still in the middle of those
Yeah.
processes.
And we
but
do have, I mean, we did get that grant or that loan from FDM, but I don't want to assume that we don't have to pay that back. Like
Yeah.
we hope maybe like if FEMA doesn't give us, because they're getting the money that we get from FEMA, like we're paying that loan back from FEMA. If we don't get paid back from FEMA, what's FDM going to do? Are they going to come take our roofs back off? I don't know.
So in one of the reports, Shauna, it was saying that the denial came over in May, but what has been done since May?
We appealed it in July and they just sent us the denial letter.
Some of that was back with when you had to get those
Yeah.
secondary engineering groups. in, wasn't
Right,
it?
right. Like they denied that first denial was in May and then we appealed it. And then they just sent that letter on that appeal,
Okay.
like the end of December. And then we have 60 days to reply with an appeal, and then they have 120 days to review everything.
Have we been in contact with any of the other districts like Panama City with Michael and Lee County, Lee or Charlotte County with N and County C?
Charlotte County is in Fisbit, so like they're still dealing with stuff from Ian
Okay.
that was a year prior to Adelia. But we are like in Madison County, they're all in Fisbit, so every time we're together, we're all kind of going through the same.
Have they went through the same process of the denial and
I don't know
appealing and
about that.
everything?
I don't know
Okay.
about that. And then we have Synergy, which is the consulting group that's helping us with all of the things. We have a different person, like Melinda has been helping us with everything, and we have a different person from Synergy who has been helping us since when we have to do this appeal. Like he's kind of stepped in and has experience with appeals where I don't think Melinda has had experience with appeals. And I feel better since he's stepped in. Like I feel like we've had way more productive meetings and gathering information. He feels pretty confident that roof appeal is going to be overturned, but we still have to go through that whole process.
Okay.
And then next week, Dan will be taking a group for Helene.
Next week, FEMA comes and they're doing site inspections for Helene. And there's like a different location every day. So I'll have to remind the principals, like if you see people walking through the schools, like it should be FEMA and Dan should be with them also.
So are we seeing anything different between Adelia and Helene that we could do a different with Helene just in regards to the filing of the claim and maybe not having to deal with this denial process?
I think so.
Just a second.
I think so. I think none of us have ever had to go through this to this extent, to be honest with you. Like in the whole history of being here, we haven't had to deal with FEMA or a hurricane of this nature. So I think all of it is kind of trial and error. And then there's FDM has this program. It's that FROC program, but like that, I don't know that you necessarily get more money, but it helps you be prepared with all of your paperwork and everything up front so that after a storm, you're not scrambling to get all these things that FEMA requires for you to, before you can even ask them for money. So I think that kind of keeps us, like, we will be more prepared in the future, that hopefully we don't have to see if another storm does come.
I
Okay.
hope
Well,
it's a long while. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
wait, but Munson wants to ask a question, but I was just going to say, I think to answer back on Deidre's question, with Helene, it was boots on the ground. I mean, they were in here before the hurricane had already gotten
Well,
out
and
of
that's the
our
other
county.
thing, like we have RMG that's basically here. So we've had all of these hurricanes and I've been like, hey, y'all ready? Y'all ready for another storm? But like, we won't always have
No.
them here, you know?
Okay, Bonnie
Bonnie Sue.
Sue. Go ahead, Bonnie.
I just wanted to know what we're looking at time frame wise as far as getting a complete answer one way or the other on the Idalia.
Once we submit the appeal, they have 120 days to give us an answer.
And we have
And it could
60
be,
days?
yeah, we have
We have
60.
60 days, and then they have 120 days for an answer.
Okay, thank you.
Oh,
Okay,
in
she
this
said
one.
45 days left now, so.
To submit the appeal.
All right.
Okay.
In time before the next hurricane.
Yeah, don't say that.
Thank
We're not
you.
gonna have any more.
Thank you. All right. This brings us down to the items of interest by the superintendent
Thank
and
you,
the
Shan.
board. And so, Mr. Wentworth.
Yes, we like to always recognize positives going on in our schools. And for instance, our National Honor Society this week inducted 47 new students into our National Honor Society, with 44 of them being 10th graders. All 47 students have a weighted GPA of 4.0 or higher. And an interesting correlation here is all 47 have 0 discipline referrals during their time at Taylor County High School. So that's outstanding. Both our girls and boys soccer teams made it to the regional playoffs. They'll both be in Jacksonville on the 11th. Girls at Providence High School and the boys will be at Episcopal. And tomorrow is going to be a big day of celebration at our high school gym. For any of you that can be there, please be there and support our kids. It's National Signing Day. We have 4 student athletes that are going to be signing, 3 football players and 1 baseball player. Jock Price, Kingston Williams, and DJ McCoy will be signing with Jacksonville Christian College. And Jackson Taylor with baseball will be signing a scholarship with Trinity Baptist. And another outstanding note of interest is our Taylor County High School football team GPA has increased by over half a point since Coach Braswell and his staff have taken over and incorporated some things that needed to be done to impress upon the kids the importance of academics. So I'm proud of that as well. Our middle school baseball and softball teams won their opening games yesterday against Florida High. It's always exciting to beat those guys in anything we play. And Steinhatchee School, 81% of their students, K through 5, attended their science-focused family engagement event. So that was outstanding as well. And I think that Ms. McCall has a couple things she'd like to say for us about Big Bend Technical College.
So we're very proud of our senior year. North Central Florida section. We've been featured in that magazine. Tonight we have our practical nursing program application. At 6, our LPN to RN bridge program. We have our informational meeting on Thursday at 6 p.m. Our first LPN class. Had some really great experiences. Broadening their horizons.
going. This is National CTE Month. Their career days. We have tours going on throughout the month. And today, post-secondary committee.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
All right.
McCall. Miss Smyrnios?
Happening at the primary school. One of our focuses this year has been reading achievement for our subgroups. So this year we started a mentoring program for that subgroup of students who below 41%. Back to push in and connect. That's 87 students, and from PM1 to PM2, we had 91 from those students, just from our mentors, really going in and helping them out at least once a week, and so we're seeing some. And we just had our semester 1 AR, a celebrated reader party, and so we see that that's growing. That's another challenge that we had, independent. At 146 first and second graders exceed our goals for semester 1, and then we celebrated with a
All right, thank you.
Awesome. Ms. Roberts, a word? I'm sorry.
Softball and baseball again, they won last night. Coach Murphy starts hosting this Friday, is our plan. Yesterday, we had 16 businesses come to the middle school. And around, they had a little kid. So it was awesome seeing all extra that they couldn't come. Awesome to have that many businesses come through. Our data was looking actually pretty good. We're well above where we were last year at this time with PM2. Very excited about that. We're pushing.
Absolutely.
Hey, thank
Ms.
you.
Popple, closes out.
I missed the email, I guess. I mean, I own it when I do. We had family engagement going on tonight, so I've been kind of all over the place, but, I don't know the exact numbers on that, but we had a good crowd. We had a guy coming in to do some science experiments with the kids and families. Cafeteria was looking kind of full. This is the first year we've done Odyssey of the Mind. It's an enrichment program, that basically, a lot of our high achieving kids, their parents are helping, they have to stay, they have to have parents coaching it. We've got teachers volunteering their time to coach it. We have one teacher that's kind of coordinating it. They went this weekend to like a mock kind of, that's what it's called, spontaneous event. They did really well. They said they didn't judge them, but our teachers came back and said, had they been judged, they would have won. So I'm just. Oh, career day was a smash. I will say that. We had
It
about
was.
10 at our school. Miss McCall's, Millwright guys, I mean, they put together these little activities, like on their own. Mr. Luke was telling us earlier, like, he told them, you gotta come up. They were drilling things and, they would like, the drill, and then all the boys would run over there. I mean, it was really, really a cool experience. NAMO and the hospitals and all, I mean, we had a bunch of people, fire department, so that was really cool to kind of start exposing our kids at that age. We've seen and heard in all the meetings, CTE, let's give our kids opportunities and, great. Now I'm gonna talk to Ms. McCall about maybe arranging a field trip or something for 5th grade, so they can start thinking about that, so. That was fun, and the last thing I wanted to share was, it's actually Mr. Finley's grade, but I'm gonna share it anyway. Back when he was still there, we came up with this idea that we would, monitor 3 things. We're monitoring attendance, discipline, and exact math. Every week we send that data out and we said, okay, if the group wins one of the things, they get a popsicle, if they win 2, we're gonna do something fun at the school. So for the 3rd grade, got 2 out of the 3 categories. So they did, popcorn. We've got this new fixed our projector, I'm not sure. Kids enjoyed that, and we had said, if any of them get up, they sweep all three, get the hat trick, in the 9 weeks, we'd take them on a field trip at no cost to the kid, we'll figure out, well, we didn't think anybody would. And, that group that they sent us from the primary school, and they're now our babies in 3rd grade, they proved us wrong. So we're taking about 170 kids. Miss LaDonna at the gymnastics place is giving us a huge discount, so we're gonna do them in groups. We're taking them there, and then the library is partnering with us. Miss Peg's gonna do, story time with them, and then they're going to the park, so they've got like a 3-hour fun, field trip planned for Thursday. So we're just excited to celebrate that, because we honestly didn't think any group would win all 3 categories for the 9 weeks.
That,
PM2 data, we'd like math to look better, but reading's looking better than it has in a couple years, especially with our 3rd graders. So, two
Okay.
things. One thing I've noticed, I just want to praise Facebook, I bet y'all won't follow all the schools. I think we're. The other thing is tomorrow's 100 days of school, so.
All right, thank you.
Honestly, look 100 years old, come to the primary school.
And it's 1,000 days for 5th grade. So we have to look at that too.
and again, I want to thank all of our administrators, because I think they are starting to understand where I'm coming from, in that in leadership, you have to team together and work together for a common cause. And I'm very excited and appreciative of all of our administrators. And one last thing, and I'll turn it over to somebody else, but if you didn't read the newspaper article, I did a little study, some data on our 10 kids in each grade from kindergarten through 9th grade on attendance, discipline, and test scores. And it's funny how it all correlates. The 10 kids in each grade who don't seem to attend school like they should, the average was about 80% of those kids were scoring level 1s on our PM2 test. So it's obvious we've got work to do there in our community, and I'm working hard on that to get these parents to bring their kids to school, because we can't teach them if they're not here. So.
All right. That it? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right, Ms. Ball,
I don't have anything. We do need an executive session though. Thank you.
executive session. Okay, Ms. Donnell.
Yes, congratulations to Mr. Mosey tonight, our district. Was he the district teacher of the year? Okay, so congratulations with that. I also do want to give a congratulations to our National Honor Society students that was recognized last night at the high school. I wasn't able to attend, and I think that's the first time I hadn't been able to attend in quite a while. I always do look forward to go to that ceremony. I think Big Bend Technical got something going on tonight at their school. I thought I seen something, and I did get to see where your school is already highlighting. You was up at Capitol today doing some advocacy and, letting Tallahassee know what we got going on. So kudos to you guys. I do want to acknowledge our citizen that came before us tonight. It's always good to have someone that comes and give us some feedback, and that is a concern that we do take here at the dais. I think a lot of us have been asking for years, how do we, kind of coordinate these events? Because a lot of times, by the time the board get the information, I know some schools are very good about sending us RSVPs. I know Casey's school has always been good about it, and Heather's school has too. And so when we're able to know, but sometimes it does conflict with another school event. Sometimes it does conflict, like tonight with a board meeting. But I do know it's quite a bit of us, if not all of us, that do try to make our rounds. So it's good to have that feedback, as well as, like you say, making sure that we are highlighting everything in regards to our district, in regards to our praises, as well as those areas for needs improvement. So thank you guys for that feedback. I do know I contacted Jill recently because the Florida School Board Association, which is the membership for the school board, they're doing a statewide campaign where they're trying to highlight different things that's going on statewide in school districts. I follow that page, and I know that they have been on it, sharing different things that's going on throughout the state. I've been waiting to see if we was going to have a summit yet. So I know Jill, and I shared that information with FSBA. So it would be good to share some of this stuff so it cannot get just recognized in our community, but statewide to see what we got going on. So I'm a challenge Reggie and his team to make sure we're getting this information to FSBA so it can get shared statewide. I did not get to read the article, but I did. I know you mentioned it, and I know you said it was going to be in the newspaper, so I had been looking for it. So I think it'd be good if you could share that information with the school board so we can see that data. I think it's been a minute since we've actually, I think it's probably been since Superintendent Glover that some attendance information have came to the board so we can see it. And it's always good to try to see how that information coincide with some other things, like you said, with performance and discipline. I know I asked Jill today for some ESC information because, again, I wasn't, trying to highlight one school. I'm hearing a lot of things in regards to ESC. And I know for me as a board member, it's never fun when you're getting one presentation here, but when you're talking to staff members, when you're talking to parents and communities in a concern, and they always make it seem like only one person is asking questions and services are not being met. So it's not to highlight one school, but I would like to know what's going on across the board. I never want any school to feel they're not supported, but when you only getting one piece of information, and it always seems like we're being told one thing, but when you talk to teachers and you're hearing things that coming from school, something is not adding up. And I'm going in my third term. I didn't enjoy this past summer when teachers came before us and was telling us that their evaluations had been changed. We didn't know anything about it up here. And so you guys, y'all are in different positions. I never try to come in your schools and do your job. So I just would really like the opportunity to do my job and to have the information to do my job. And it's always just seemed very one-sided. Very little discussion happens here. It's always good to highlight the goods, to do recognitions. But these meetings are the opportunity where the 5 elected people can have discussion. When you call ahead and you get information, that's information to you. But law does not allow me to call Danny, Brenda, Bonnie, or Brenda and have a conversation outside of this meeting. Y'all get to do that. Reggie get to do that. Y'all can call us one by one, but we never get to have discussion. And I can't make you understand it. But for me, I'm a parent in schools. I know what I experienced as a parent. I know what I'm experiencing as a district elected elected school board member. I know the support I'm getting. I know the feedback I'm getting. I just would like to see everything come together as it should. I would like to see the leadership where we can take this district to the next level. I have never thought that the talent wasn't here. I have never thought that the population wasn't here. But it just seems like we allow little things to get in the way in regards to what needs to be addressed and how to address it. I've been asking for a while now for a strategic plan. We don't have one. So it's hard to know what direction we're going in and what we're doing when we don't have anything directing us. It just seems like a lot of stuff is day to day and routine, and I get all that. But if you don't have a point, then where are you going? And you guys are in the trenches. Y'all are the ones doing the work, and you know how you get consumed. And I know how we get consumed with the information that's coming to us and the time frame that it's coming to us. So again, I didn't get elected to just have my name on this plate. I didn't get elected to just say I'm a school board member. I'm a citizen in this community. I was born and raised here. I have raised a family here. I know what opportunity I was afforded, and I know the reality that hit me when I went to college. I have 2 degrees, and I still continue to work in education. I would like to see this district soar and fly high as an eagle, but it takes everybody from the top down modeling that, and it cannot be done piece by piece. So I can't speak for my board, because it tells me I'm not elected to speak with them, but I'm elected to vote with them. But if we can't have the discussions and we don't have all the information, and not bits and pieces, but all the information, we've been told we're probably gonna have to be cuts. We've been told we're $1 million down in revenue, FTE is down. I would love to see that FTE analysis that Pam brought to the district. Are we trying to see where these kids at, and can we bring them back? Can we bring them back? But again, it takes more. And I know it's hard work, and I don't expect change overnight. But Reggie, I told you from day one, I'm not going to sacrifice my job to do your job. But I would like for us to understand how our jobs works together and to see that carried out. So again, I'm challenging you on that, and I just pray we're able to do that, because until I can see different, like what was pointed out today, where it's not just discipline that's getting highlighted, and that always been the forefront. It starts with engagement, and engagement got to start with everybody working together. What the decisions we make comes and has to be attached to a student outcome. It can't be attached to extra hours. It can't be attached to a position. Every decision we make has to be attached to student outcomes. That's what I've been trained, and that's what I understand as a board member. And if anything has changed, I renew my certified board membership every year, and I don't take that lightly. When I was given the opportunity to be a certified board member, I'm a person that pursue knowledge, and I want to know how we make everything work and how to do that. And so I'm here, and I'm always here and ready to do that work.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Ms. Mathis.
Thank you, Deidre, and thank you for reminding us and everyone, and we need somebody who does that. And well, we all know that we're on a very tight budget, and we have to ask a lot of hard questions, and Deidre pressed pretty hard tonight, and I appreciate that. I did vote for it in the end because I know that these teachers have already done the work and they've already vested in it, but we have to be so careful with our budget right now. And I appreciate you for what you said.
Thank you, Jen.
It didn't fall on deaf ears, and
I know, it
appreciate
never
you.
falls on deaf ears, so thank you.
No, it doesn't. And Ms. Goodman, thank you for being here. Thank y'all both. Wade, I know how hard y'all have worked in the district as parents, and so I really appreciate everything that you had to say. Thank you. Luke is gone, but I'm so proud of him. He's my cousin. Did y'all know that? Anyway, it's very, very happy for Luke. Well deserved, very much so. I am looking forward to working with the ROTC students at the Fiddler Crab Festival. I believe they're coming down to help. Mr. Finley, do you know anything about? Yeah, okay. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, no, yep. And also, let's see, Steenhatchee. So I did talk to Mr. Bray on the way down here today, and I had some quote. We have a part-time PE teacher position that's been cut, and our student enrollment is at 85, which is about 14 students lower than what we would like to see it be. So we have students who have left because they've lost homes there, and we believe that enrollment will come up. There's 6 or 7 of them that once their homes are repaired or their living situation gets better, they will be able to be back. And of course, there are several staff members also who have lost their homes, and it has affected them. We have a 3rd grade teacher that has missed 33 days of school this year. And so we have our ESE teacher and who's been filling in there, helping doing her job, and the reading assignment there. And then we have Mr. Bray, who's our principal, who's been teaching math in that classroom. So that I know a little bit about everybody being stretched thin. And but with all that being said, they have made great gains in that 3rd grade class that is busting at the seams and is way too full. So that part we're happy about. Also, I'm excited about National Signing Day tomorrow. I won't be able to come here, but y'all are going to definitely, I'll be looking for the pictures and for the announcements when they come out. Thank y'all.
All right, thank you. Miss Bonnie Sue, Miss Agner.
Yes, I'm here.
You got it.
My turn.
Yes.
I want to thank everybody for allowing me to be out tonight, but also I want to really congratulate Luke Mosley. Not only is he a great teacher, he is a great example of a godly man that these students get to see. And he loves them and they know it. I feel like that Reggie, when I'm going to brag on Reggie a minute, he was out pitching and coaching Saturday at the baseball game. I don't know if any of you got to go, but it was a wonderful time. It just speaks volumes to how important a public school is to a community and how everything ties the whole community together. There were people that were played back there's some in the 70s, but all the way through to 2000 something that played for these coaches. It was a fun time had by everybody. It was a good way to raise money for the baseball team. And I see success, and as I've said a million times, nothing promotes success like success. And I just keep praying that this fire that started keeps going, because I feel like that everybody is on the same page. Everybody's wanting to go forward. We're all pulling together, and I really see it in the community and in our schools. And I just want to thank everybody, and that's really all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Carlton.
Yes, not a whole lot, but I do want to congratulate the Weldon students. And then, of course, Luke Mosley being the Teacher of the Year. That's a great accomplishment for him. We've got a lot of sports activities going on, as Reggie said. I mean, we have just constantly, and of course, with the soccer regionals, just wishing the best for all of those. Also, I did attend the National Honors induction last night, and I wanted to comment on Miss Blue for running a very good program for last night. I mean, it was less than 30 minutes, and I only said that because somebody says, "Oh, that was 29 minutes or 28 minutes." It was just bam, 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 and everything was very good. Of course, the students were, well attended, and but I do appreciate it. It's just a good feeling. The other thing is our next meeting is the 25th, correct? Now that's, if y'all remember, that's also our master board training day. So that'll be on the 25th.
Have we, I've got that written down here also, but have we set in stone the time for this?
Master Board, we were waiting on a final.
No, I just went ahead and put it in my book, 9:00, but I'm sure she'll be here whenever we
Now,
tell her to be here.
I think it was consensus of the board that, that's going to be also board meeting.
Mhm.
And that we and we got to have how many hours? 6 hours?
7.
7.
7.
Mhm.
So that we just kind of roll in from that right into our board meeting. So whatever the timing needs to be, I think that's what the consensus everybody was.
Start time. She did confirm that. and
You have a
then she-
contract with it, yeah.
And she would get with us closer to the date because they're going to provide lunch for y'all too, but she didn't say the start time. But
Okay,
I'll
I'm sorry, go
ask
ahead.
her.
And the other thing was a question I was going to ask Reggie. With Shope and Simons having their meeting again Saturday, do we want to go ahead and formalize our request of what we want to ask them for? I mean,
I think that meeting they're having was not like another delegation meeting. I think it was to address some of the concerns that's been coming from the county in regards to the coastal.
do you know, Angela, on the meeting for Saturday?
Yeah, they said that they was gonna come back, because remember, there was concerns.
I heard that, but,
Because I see where it's been advertised, and I was going to say that it is going to be Saturday at 10 a.m. Now, I did speak to Senator Simon after the meeting, and I asked him about, the concerns we're having with funding and if that's something would qualify for appropriation. And he said he wouldn't. He said appropriations would specifically like projects. And so I do think it's a conversation we need to have, Brenda, like, do we have any projects in the district? And maybe we can make some requests before it's too late far as this year. But he said that our position far as the lack of revenue and FTE was going to be more so funding, and that's not something we can request appropriations for. But now he did say that, you know, the day that Reggie and Kiki then went up there and met with him and Senator Mumford, that they heard our concerns and that they do know that we do have those concerns. And it almost made it seem like as if like it's gonna come down to our FEFP. So I don't know, but I know I did ask him after the meeting. Could he specify, was that an appropriation concern? And he said, not really.
But I just know that if we don't ask,
I do too,
Yeah.
Brenda. That's why I asked the question, and that's why I kept asking the superintendent to get clarity on that. So,
Okay, anything else? If that's it. Okay, again, I concur with a lot has been said here. Discussions, the good things that's been mentioned, concerns that have been mentioned. We thank you all for coming and being part of this. And I know that we still got a closed hearing, and so we're going to adjourn, take about 3 or 4 minute break, and then we'll bring the closed hearings, and then after that, we do have an executive session. So thank you all again. Do I have a motion and a second? That we
Motion.
adjourn? All right, Ms. Donnell makes that motion. Ms. Carlton seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
aye.
And this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.